do that now. So to do that, I would want to add a modal to this. So I would just come and say insert my rectangle. I'll be working with a rectangle. I would add a rectangle. Rectangle. So the width, I would make it parent dot width. Currently it's 150. I'll say parent dot width. And the height also, the height will be parent dot height. Sorry, height. Parent dot height. Parent dot height. So we can see it has covered my screen. So the x and y, I should set it to 0 so that it will lap very well. So my x and y, I'm setting it to 0. So if I click on enter, you can see it has lapped my entire screen. So the next thing is just to make it to be a little bit transparent. So I can do that. First of all, I want to change the fill to black. Let's say the fill is black. Then I want to come to my current fill is black, so I would say go to fill. I'll just change it to 0.5. Alright, so this is 0.5. So with this now, once the modal is up, I cannot interact with the form feed. Like I cannot click you can see even the button, you cannot click it. Alright, so the next thing is now to add our container, or you can make use of a rectangle, or you can either make use of maybe a rectangle. You can say rectangle, you can still make use of a rectangle and just resize. Let's say we can work with a rectangle like this with this size, but me, I love working with what's it called, I love working with containers. So instead of a rectangle, I'll be working with container. So before moving further, this is our first a rectangle. I would name it pop-up. I'll rename it to pop-up rectangle. Let me just rename it pop-up rectangle. So this is called pop-up rectangle. So I will click on enter. So I just like I said, I love working with containers. So instead of using a rectangle, I would work with container. We have a width of about 6. The width here is about 600. Then the height is 240. So let me just delete this. Delete or cut. I can cut it. So the next thing is I want to work with a container instead of rectangle. So inside of this my pop-up, I also want to still add a container. So I would working with a vertical container. Just I would call it let's work on the width. I'll say the width is parent dot width. So I want it to, then the height is also parent dot height. Height parent dot height, so that it would. So why I'm using a container here is just to, so that anything that I can centrally align my pop-up, you can see what's happening. So now this container here, I want the x and y to be 0. So I want to set it to 0. So once I click on enter, you can see. Then I want to go down the border. I don't take out the border, none. Also the drop shadow, I want to take it out. So with this now, if I play, this is what I have. So now, so here now comes so with this now, I can now with this container, I can now center the horizontal alignment. I can see center, then vertical alignment also center. So what am I trying to do now? I will now insert a container, a non-responsive container. So this is a non-responsive container. Turn off the flexible height, then in center. So currently the width is 500. I can make it 550. Then the height is 200. We can choose to make it 300 and see. Okay, you can see currently our height. So if I make the fill, let me just the fill to be white. You can see now that if I play this, you can see that this is in the middle, and I cannot interact with my form field. You can see with the help of this other container now, I've been able to position this in the middle. So this is in the center of this. So the next thing is just to, so in order to place my order this thing, I'll just have to, so let me just take out the drop shadow of this, so that take out drop shadow should be none. Then the border, I'm taking out the border, and then also border radius, I'm taking it out. But if you want your container, if you want your pop-up to have a rounded edge, you can just add it. You can say 30, and let's see, you can see what we have. If you want your this thing to have a rounded edge, you can, but if you don't want, you can take it out. So the next thing is a pop-up. Now you can, let's add, first of all, before I want to add a container, a vertical container. Then I want to give it a height, parent.height, parent.height. If you have any question, you can actually drop it in the comments. I'll see them and respond to that. So the width should be parent.width, parent.width. So I will also make the x and y 0 so that they can lap. X and y should be 0. So x and y is 0. So now x and y is 0. So I will now go down and take out the drop shadow, so that I don't have any shadow around it. Border, none, then the radius. So it will assume. So this is what we have. You can see. So now with that container, now we can start adding what we can start adding. I can add a container also. Add this container. Then if you turn off this, give it the height of 50. You can see my height is 50. Then border radius, I'm turning off the border radius. Then the none. So I'm giving it width. Sorry, the width. I want to make it parent.width. Parents. Sorry. So my width is parent.width. Parent.width. So with this now, I want to add an icon, a cancel icon. Let me just type cancel. So I can choose to use this now. I can add this. So I want to resize it. I can make it width 25 and see, or let's make it 30 and see, 30. Then the height also, let's reduce the height. Let's make it of 30 and see. Alright, so now I want to now align it inside the container. So I want to give it a horizontal alignment. I want to push it to the end. I want to push it to the end. Then also vertical alignment, I want to align it to the center. So I'll also give it a padding right, so that it can padding right. I can see, let's say 30 and see. If I give the padding right of 30, you see. Let me make it 25. So you can see what we have. You can see what we have now. You can see what we have now. It is now at the edge. I don't want this border to be showing, so I can just come here and click it and take it out also. So I can now come here, click it, come down here, take it, give it a none. So if I play it now, you won't be seeing anything. So the next thing is, I want to add a text. Are you sure you want to save this information? So I want to add another container. I can just choose to let me just rename this and call it top container, or I can call it header container. So once I save it, I can now choose to copy, then Control So I want to copy this, copy and paste. Alright, so I just copied and paste. So I want to check the gap. Gap is 0. Horizontal alignment. This is the container here. This one is this other one. This is the first one. This is it. So I want to take this out. Let me delete this. Alright, so I'll now select this, insert a container. You either insert a container or you just add a text control, or we can just say text label. You add a text label. So we can choose to use a text label. So we can choose to use a give it a width of Alright, insert the text label. Alright, I want to give it a width of width. Parent.width. Parent.width. So the text will be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to submit this? Details. So we are just using this dummy text, so you can look for something nice. So you can see, are you sure you want to submit this? So I can center it. If I play this, you can see, are you sure you want to submit these details? So I'll be adding 2 icons, yes or no. So I'll just add. So I want to give space between these controls, so I can just highlight on this, then give it a gap. Let's say a gap of 15, and see if I give it a gap of 15, you can see the space between this. So the next thing is adding another. I want to copy this, copy, paste. Alright, so I want to stay, turn it off. So you can this is it now. So I want to add 2 icon here. So are you sure you want to submit these details? So we'll be having 2 icon, a check and probably a cancel. So on this now, I would say insert check. So this now, so I want to resize it 30 by 30, 30. Then height also 30. So height is 30. So inside this container, I want to space them, give them a gap. So I can say giving them a gap of 10. Then the horizontal alignment, I can align them. We can say we want to align them in the center. You can see, or then you give them a gap of, let's say, 24, and see. Are you sure you want to? Or we can, okay, we can choose to take this down a little by just hovering on the main container, then giving it a gap of, let's see, let me give it a gap of 40 and see. So I think it's better this way. Alright, are you sure you want to submit this detail? Then when I click on Are you sure you want to submit this detail? When I click on yes, no. Once I click on this, it cancels my pop-up. Once I click on the other one, it adds the record to my data source. So this is how it is to work with container or pop-up and giving your user a good experience instead of going directly to submitting the record. Alright, to make this functional, so what we have to do is set a variable whenever we click that button. So I'll just go to my form. I'll go to my screen and just quickly go to the form. This is my pop-up. Then I'll go to my form container, scroll down, then scroll down. This is my form. Go to my button. This is the button here. So I will check on select of this button. What happens on select? So normally, instead of doing this action, I would want us to on select set a variable. So what I'll be doing is let me just Control A, Control S, copy this out. So on select, I want to set a variable. We'll call it var pop up. So I'll just set it to true. On select of this, I want to set that var pop up to true. Then I'll now come here. So I've set the variable. On select, set var pop up to true. So let's see why this thing is flagging here. Which error is coming up? Okay, the text on the button. Alright, we'll come back to this. Alright, so I'll now go back to my control, to my pop-up, the pop-up we created. Remember we renamed this pop-up. I'll now go to the visibility and check on the visibility or the visible property. Instead of setting it to true, I'll set it to var pop-up. var pop-up. So I'll set it to var pop-up. Then so on click of this place, so var pop-up. So I'll now close this. This is my var pop-up. I have this container. So I'll now come to this icon. This one on check of this, what I want to do. So you now perform that action. On select of this icon, then do this stuff. On select of this icon, then patch the record to my data source. On select of this icon, patch this thing, then set var pop-up to false. Then I want to set var pop-up to false after submitting my data. I'll now click. So I want to copy this also, Control C. Then I want to also on select of this icon, I want to set var pop-up to false. Set it to false. On select of this, I also want to set var pop-up to false. So if I play this now and I click on this, okay, it's not giving me the ability to click. So what we'll do is, just to make this thing clickable, sometimes using icon it gives an issue. So to make this thing clickable, so it acts like a button, so we'll just insert a button. I'll just insert a button. Button. I'll add a button control, then make it transparent. Classic button. Alright, so in order to group these things together, so let's just do it this way. So take out the button. Let me delete this. So I'll copy this out. I'll just cut this out. So inside of this, I'll now insert a container. Alright, so I want to turn off this flexible width, then give it a height of 40, then a width of 40 also. width of 40. So I have it smaller. Then the height, I want to check what the parent height is. The height is 50. So okay, with this now I can now paste my icon. Paste. Alright, I can now paste my icon. So let me just the light, the drop shadow, I want to turn it, set it to none. Also the border, I want to set it to none. The border radius, none. Then the height, we want to make it to be 40. Alright. Alright, so if I play this, we can see what we have here. So on this again, alright, on the container, alright, I'll scroll up. I can give it a padding at the top so that it comes down a little. Padding top, I can just say 10. Let's see what happens. Padding top inside the container, 15. Alright, so if I play this, alright, it looks better. So with this now, I can add a button to this container. So I can just insert a button. Yeah, then take out the text, give it a width, parent.width, parent.width, then give it the height of parent.height, give it the height of parent.height, parent.height. Then the next thing is just to set the x and y to 0, so we can see. Then make the color to be transparent, make the fill to be transparent. Make the fill to be border, style, width, color, size, outline type, command. I make the fill to be transparent. So let me take out this button. Insert the button. Alright, the width, parent.width, the x and y to be 0. Alright, the x and y is 0. Then the height is parent.width, parent.height. The height is parent.height. Alright, we want to make it transparent, so the fill should be transparent. Then I need to take out the text. Take it out. Also scroll down. The hover, this thing should be taken out, or you make it delete. Alright, so if I click on this now, it is clickable. You see, it is clickable. Alright, so now I can now add my code, my formula or code here. On select, alright, I'll now set my var pop-up. Set var pop-up to false. I want to set it to false. So alright, let's see what happens here. So if I click on this, so it sets it. So what's happened is, if you can see, the rectangle is no longer here. So I would have to also add this is the rectangle, the var pop-up. Where is my rectangle? This is my rectangle here. this is my rectangle here, and then this is my also container. So I will also set the visibility visible instead of true var pop-up. I just hope that's what it is spelled. Alright. So we see now it is no longer visible. So with this now, if I play my app, then fill my information, then at gmail.com, then number, I want to enter random numbers. Then if I click on this, it sets it. Are you sure you want to submit this detail? So once I click on cancel, it cancels it. So once I click on this, it sets my my pop-up on. So you can see with this modal at the back, I cannot interact with this. I cannot fill this. But if we did not add this modal, we'll be able to interact with our form field. So that's the importance of using a modal. Just give it a points, either 0.3, 0.5 transparency. So with this now, if I click on cancel, it cancels my pop-up. If I click on this, it turns it on. So if I click on this, I should be able to submit. You see, it has submitted. If I go to my back end, I can see, give it a refresh, and so I have, you can see this is, so I can choose to delete everything. If I delete it now, let's resubmit a new record. So you see